Welcome to Kenwo's Rising Star. I am Chef Vineet and this is Lily Bakes. And we're going to make for you a no-bake salted caramel peanut cheesecake. All set? Yeah. Now the cheesecake has got two parts. First is the base for the cheesecake and second is the filling. It's a no-bake, so it's a very easy one. Get started?
Yep, let's go.
Okay, we've got a bag here and I've got a stick here. So if you don't behave, you get a whack. No, you put the biscuits inside. Now we're going to use digestive biscuits. You can use any of the biscuits. You can use short crust biscuits or you can use graham crackers. But I prefer to use digestive because they give a very nice flavor. Put them all in, lock it up. Now all you do is gently just crush them. Make it into powder form. Okay? Yeah. What we're doing here is trying to make a very fine crumble out of the biscuits so they become into nice, smooth, small pieces. Yeah? Lily, we're going to transfer that into the bowl. All of it goes. Good. That can go on the side. What we don't need, we always keep our area clean. Now there is a twist to my base which I make. I like to add flavors into it. I like to give it more body, more texture. So what I'm going to add in that is actually almond powder.
Alright, okay.
So we've got almond powder here. You want to put that in?
Yeah, okay.
Put all the almond, yeah. And then I'm going to add a spice. I like to add flavors. Indian origin, I like to add more flavors. I like spices. And a lot of people think that spice needs to be chili. It doesn't need to be chili. It needs to be flavors. So think like when you're doing a dessert, you need to add sweet spices. So think like cinnamon works well. Think like green cardamom. Think like saffron and fennel seeds. I am using fennel seeds here.
Okay.
Have you used them before?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, Lily, show me your hand. I'm going to use a tiny amount of fennel. These are roasted seeds. And then they're lightly coarsely crushed. Try that. They are like anise.
Yeah.
They're very light and fragrant. They're not chili.
No, they're not
They have flavor in them. So not too much. And because they're coarsely textured, they also give a bite. Now back in India, you would use that into soups. You use that into grills to marinate meats. You also have that as a digestive at the end of the meal. It's a coolant for your stomach. So after you eat a meal, you probably eat some of the roasted seeds, put them in your mouth and chew them.
That's so cool.
And it's very good for your digestion. It really helps. So spices also have a lot of medicinal value of their own, which a lot of people don't realize that each spice has got a certain element. They've got natural oils in them and enzymes which actually are good for your body. I also like to add some sugar. Now, a lot of people tend to put castor sugar or granular sugar. I like to put icing sugar because it becomes into a nice smooth. You don't want the sugar pieces come in your mouth. So I've got a tablespoon of sugar. You want to stir that for me, please? Just mix that gently. So all we're doing right now is mixing up the spice along with the sugar, along with the almonds and the biscuit crumbs to form like a evenly spaced out dry crumble mixture. Now once that is done, we add melted butter. Okay. We waste nothing, do we?
No.
Never, never ever waste. Okay, mix it together. What we're making here is something like a dough. We're making a dough out of the crumble. Now, if you realize what you have done, you've added more flavor, you also added more body into it.
Yeah.
And always use the back of the spoon. So when you the back of the spoon, when you press it, and because the butter is melted or you have soft butter, it folds in quite well. It gives it moisture to the crumble and holds, the fat holds the crumble together.
What butter would you usually use?
Unsalted butter.
Right, okay.
I mean, you can use salted butter, it's a preferred taste if you like it, but there's enough seasoning sometimes in the food. So I don't like to add salt as a salted butter. If I need to add salt, I add it at the last in my dish. So I try and add flavors. But if you do like the salty flavors, it works well. And especially with desserts, a certain amount of salt will work well. So you get this kind of a texture. So if you hold it, kindly pinch it in your fingers. It comes together.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of a feel you want. You want it to bind quite well. It sticks together in your fingers. So that's the base ready. Now what we do, we have a little cake tin here. So try and get a cake tin. You can also use the spring ones here, which opens up. They work well. I've got a plain simple one which pops out literally. Also what I've done is I've greased it very lightly. So when you grease your cake tin, it becomes more like a non-stick. So your base will not stick. But what I'm going to do is I am going to line the edges. So with a grease-proof paper or a parchment paper. And the second side. Spoon that in now. You can be generous, Lily, here, doesn't matter. If it's
So I
slightly
use
thick.
all of it?
No, not all of it. We'll do maybe one more spoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now with the back of the spoon, all you do is you press it down and make sure that it spreads evenly. Now as you do with the back of the spoon, you're also crushing it and you're also removing any air particles there could be. But the whole idea is that it is very evenly spread out on the base. I'm going to put one more spoon. If you have extra, never discard it. You can make small cookies out of them, put them in the oven, you can have it like a biscuit, it works very well. You get a nice fennel flavor to it. So okay, here, watch this. We're going to press it all down. Now what happens here, if you look around the edges, there are gaps.
Yeah.
You see that? Now that should not be. You should always try and push at the end. So with the tip of your spoon, you go around the edges and you press it down. It seals the ends. So you're going to press it firmly. Now there is butter in this. And the reason why we add butter and don't add oil, do you know why?
Will it like keep it like firmer?
Yes, well done. Because this will now go into a fridge for a good 20 minutes for the base to get firm. Now this is already cooked. The biscuits are already pre-cooked, so don't need to cook it. If you want, you can put them in the oven for 10 minutes at 180 degrees centigrade and it can be used, but it's not really required. If you put them in the fridge, the butter becomes firm and becomes hard on cooling down. So when you cut the cheesecake, you get the crisp texture in your mouth, cluck, cluck, cluck when you bite into it. That's because it becomes firm. And the butter holds its shape because of the cold temperature. So this is now ready. Now I would like you, Lily, to put this into the fridge.
Yep.
And then we move on to the next stage.
Thank you.
The next part, Lily, is going to make a caramel. Now, although we're making a caramel, we're going to make in two parts. We're going to have one part which become the garnish, the peanut brittle, and the second part of the same thing is going to be used to make a sauce and the drizzle to put on top of the cheesecake. Also the flavoring. Now, I've got here roasted peanuts here. Store-bought is fine. You can use store-bought or you want to make it yourself, perfectly okay. And it's also slightly salty. So they are salted roasted peanut which have been crushed. The whole idea to crush them is because when you bite into them, you don't get large chunks. You get the finer pieces. You still get a nice bite and the nice texture. Because cheesecake is quite rich on its own, very creamy, very heavenly and luxurious. So the peanut pieces give a nice kind of crunch. Now if you have peanut allergy and you want to skip that, you can skip the nuts altogether. Or if you want to use almonds or you want to use pine nuts or pistachio, perfectly okay. Me, as a kid growing up in India, I used to love peanuts.
Yeah.
And my favorite. So as a kid, we used to have a snack called a chikki, which is like a brittle. And it should be maybe peanuts and jaggery, which is like a brown sugar.
All right.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we've got to cook the sugar. And cooking the sugar is a very, very important technique. You've got to really understand how to cook sugar. Can you get that for me, please?
Yeah. Do you want this?
Yes, please. Okay, let's put it all down. So when you caramelize sugar, you go to first heat up a pan. I'm going to put on medium heat and you add the sugar. Now I'm using castor sugar here. Now there's a golden rule with sugar when you caramelize sugar. You know what that is?
No.
You never put a spoon or you never stir the sugar.
Okay.
You let the sugar melt on a gentle heat so that it breaks down and begins to caramelize. All you do is just swirl the pan.
Okay.
If you do put a spoon inside at this stage and start turning it around, what will happen is it will all stick onto your spoon and you will not get the perfect caramel. It will get lumps. Now this is a bit of time consuming, but you got to stand with it. Also, the kind of pan which you use is extremely important. You need a pan which is a heavy bottom pan because that will retain the heat for long. So that's what you want. You want the sugar to melt on its own. So you keep on stirring the pan. And all that lump formation is all going to go off eventually once the sugar melts. All I'm doing is I'm just moving the pan. And if it gets too hot, I'll lift it off the pan, swirl the sugar in the pan just to make sure it's spread and put it back. It does happen that the bottom gets hotter and it tends to get more caramelized, so you can always lift the pan off the heat. And at this stage, you add in the peanuts. And then with a spoon, you now mix it together. And with the heat, the sugar will gently envelope the peanuts.
Okay.
Take it off the heat, stir it off, and what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to transfer it onto my trivet here. I don't need to use all of it. I'm going to use some of it with the back of the spoon.
It smells so nice.
Yeah, it tastes better. So this will not burn. This will remain as it is. All you do is halfway down, rolling pin, and you roll it. So because it is hot, the sugar is still warm and hot, it spreads across quite easily. You want to do that for me?
Yeah. Okay.
Just gently roll it.
Yeah.
Gently, yeah. You feel the little rise in the silk pad? It's because of the peanut. Gently roll it, yeah. Let's have a look. So, because the sugar, when it cools down, it becomes hard.
Yeah.
Become nice and crispy. But I will not wait, and neither should you. So I'm going to give you a little piece to try. It's going to be a bit chewy.
Thank you.
But oh, it's nice, isn't it?
That's really nice.
It is nice. We'll let that stay on the side. And we're going to finish off our caramel. Come.
Okay.
That is very nice.
Nice.
So this goes back on the heat. We're going to melt it off again, warm it up, and going to make a caramel. Now I like to have a rich caramel. So I add butter into it. I add cream into it. So add lots of flavor.
Yeah.
So at this stage, we add the butter. And you add the butter and it begins to sizzle. It begins to melt. And then the cream.
It sounds like it's so cool.
I think it's all about when you mix it together.
Yeah.
Cooking is with your senses, really. You know, when you actually cook, you cook with your eyes, you see. You cook with your nose, you smell. You cook with your ears. And people say, how do you cook with your ears? It's because you hear.
Yeah.
You hear a sizzle, it tells you how much of it is being cooked and how much more you need to cook. So you take it off the heat. I really reduce the heat down to bare minimum.
Yeah.
All I'm doing now is just making sure that the sugar melts, the caramel melts into the cream. And what you get is a very nice rich tan. Keep stirring it for me, please.
Yeah,
You get a very nice rich tan. Just melt it down. And I'm going to add some sea salt. I'm going to be a bit generous because I love the sea salt flavoring to go into caramel. Now if you find it's getting too thick, take it off the heat. So all we're doing now is melting down the caramel into the cream, giving it a very nice kind of a salty caramel flavor to the sauce. And this is then going to be folded into the cheesecake.
Thank you. Should I blow on it or
Yes,
just try
please
it?
blow on it. It's very hot. You want to burn your palate.
That's really good.
Richness of the caramel, it's nice.
That's so
So
nice.
it's like a caramel, or you can say like a butterscotch. It's got a similar flavors. It really works well. Okay, so this is, I'm going to leave it here for the sugar to break down. This caramel is almost done. Let that cool and we move on to the next part.
Okay.
Okay, for the cheesecake, you normally use a soft cheese, but I like to lighten it up because it's quite heavy for me. So I try and use soft cheese, I try and use mascarpone and also use double cream. So I use all three kinds of cheese just to make it nice and rich. Now, you have to mix the sugar along with the cheese. A lot of people will also take cream and would whip the cream along with sugar and make it fluffy. I don't do that. I put everything into my K-mix and I first mix it together so it becomes nice and smooth.
Okay.
Okay, so to get started, let me get my caramel out of the way. Come along. Let's go with the soft cheese first.
This one?
Yeah. In it goes.
All right.
There's a spatula at the bottom in the drawer. Yeah. Sugar. All the sugar and when you now use your whisk, don't go very fast. Go on a gentle speed. When you first start whisking, go on to a gentle speed. Let the sugar break down and mix with the cheese. And then you add in the other stuff. You want to become like a nice, smooth, creamy paste. Also, when you use cheese, especially soft cheese, try and keep it outside at room temperature for a while, so it becomes a bit more softer. Okay, then goes in the mascarpone, all of it. So it's a very simple recipe, equal parts of all the three cheeses.
All right, okay.
Mix around it, become into a paste.
Yeah.
You want to become nice and smooth. So if you look at it now, it's become nice and smooth and creamy. You want that kind of a creamy texture to come through. So now I'm going to increase the speed. Okay, look at it. It's become nice and rich.
Yeah.
So with that you can actually see.
Looks
see
so
that?
nice.
So that's it's all melted off. The sugar is all melted off. You got a little kind of a gloss because sugar is melted into the cheese. It's mixed together. You want to use a finer sugar because it's easy to melt.
So is it like melted or is it dissolved?
It dissolves.
All right,
It
okay.
dissolves. Then goes in the cream.
All of this, yeah?
All of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No waste.
No waste. Exactly. We love that. No waste. That goes. Keep that here. Again, start with the lower speed, otherwise it's going to all spill off over you. You don't want an accident in the kitchen. Does it happen to you ever?
It has with ice and sugar, not
Yeah, it goes
with
all
liquid,
over.
yeah.
It happened to me
Everywhere.
once using a blender. I didn't put the jar lid properly and it just boom all over the kitchen. So you live and learn.
Yep.
Okay. That's it. If I do it too much, it will tend to split. So let's take this off. There it is. So that is the base for the cheesecake now. You know, you can add any flavoring you want into this. This is a very simple, easy, basic recipe.
Yeah.
I am going to use gelatin now. This goes for a wash. I've got gelatin here. You can use gelatin sheets, slightly soaked into water, cold water, for it to balloon up slightly. But once that is done, it is still a bit lumpy. It needs to be warmed up. You either put it onto a double boiler, and a double boiler basically is a pan of water where a bowl will rest, and the heat from the water just melts the gelatin together. So that's a double boiler. You don't boil the gelatin, just lightly warm it. But what we have here is our caramel. Now the caramel is still warm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to mix this up. And just make sure the gelatin melts. So all I'm doing is I'm breaking it down.
So will this like harden up the cheesecake more?
Yes, so when this hardens up, it settles down.
Can you do it without gelatin or like?
You can do without gelatin, but you got to increase the cheese then.
Yeah, okay.
So if you add more cheese into it, it will hold shape quite well. You don't need to add gelatin. So if you see, all the gelatin has melted off in the warm caramel. You want it to be nice and smooth. So this is now going to go in the cheesecake mixture. So the gelatin, when it cools down, the mixture becomes nice and firm. Then what we also do is, we're going to add the caramelized nuts, goes in. Now if you look at it, this caramel is still warm. It's still got a very nice, lots of flavor to it. And because this is warm, this will also slightly soften up and make the cheesecake a little runny, which is perfectly fine.
Okay.
The gelatin will do the rest of the work for you. I'm going to reserve some for the garnish at the last. And what I want you to do is lightly fold this for me.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
mix it together and you see the color will change. It takes on a wonderful tan color of the caramel. So all the flavors of the caramel, the salted caramel, the peanut, the roasted peanuts are all going to get mixed together and you get a very nice kind of a smooth. If you want, you can also leave it like a ripple effect and have whites and browns in them. That's perfectly okay. But we can mix it together.
Okay.
So while you do that, I'll get my cake tin out with the biscuit base. Yum. It looks nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can probably have a whole bowl full of that right now. You too?
Yeah.
Shall we do that? Yeah. After you guys go. Okay, if you look at this now, it will become nice and firm. Try and feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it? It is hard.
Yeah.
And that's the way you want it. So all the butter in the with the biscuit has become solid, it become firm. So when you cut the cheesecake, you will get a nice firm base, and when you bite into it, you get a rich, soft, luxurious, creamy cheesecake mixture contrasting with the flavors and the peanut bite, but you also get a very nice crunch from the bottom. So now at this stage, all we do is transfer the wonderful magic in the tin. There we go.
It looks so good.
It looks it's nice. So you put half of it, press it down, make sure it is all air pockets, spread it over. And if you're wondering what we'll do with this, that is for Lily and for me to enjoy a big bowl on its own. Now there are air pockets in this. The best way is to hold it and try that. It's fun.
Okay.
I love doing this. Slow, slow, slow. Yeah. One more time, gently. Good. So what has happened here, all the air has been removed. You get a very even topping on top. Normally people take a spatula and you go over it 3 or 4 times. Nothing wrong, but I just find thumping the cheesecake just breaks it down in a manner that it falls all over, so there are no air pockets. This will go into the fridge for a good 2.5 to 3 hours for it to solidify. So Lily, while you do that, I'll get some couple of bowls to enjoy this, and we'll see you in a few hours. Okay, Lily, time for the cheesecake.
Got it? That looks really nice.
It looks nice.
Yeah.
Okay. It's nice and cold. You've been resting for a while. And the best way to touch it is feel it. When you feel that, it's quite firm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun.
And that's because gelatin is set. It's also got fat in it. It's got cream. It's got mascarpone. It's got cheese, cream cheese. So it's all quite nice and rich. And all I do at this stage is I'm going to now try and what you do is lightly rub it on the sides. The heat of the palm, just rub it down. So you loosen the edges. Just go around.
Okay.
Just caress it very lightly. And you move it around.
Like that?
Yeah, just the heat of the palm, it softens it, or opens up the cheesecake.
All the way around, yeah?
Yeah, all the way around.
I've never done this before, like
So
this.
normally people, what they do, they use a blowtorch
Yeah.
and they slightly warm up the sides. But I just think it's much easier because you're connecting with food.
Yeah.
So you're also pressing the mold slightly inwards. So you tend to loosen up the cheese. All you tend to do is make the sides loose. And don't forget, we also had grease the side and put a parchment paper or a greaseproof paper. So when it comes out, it will not be the cleanest of the edges, but what we're looking for is a nice, clean, round shape. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to pop this up, press it up, and you loosen the sides. You see that?
Yeah.
Now this is the tricky part. What you can also do is you can put a little tin
Yeah.
and put it on
I've
a tin
done that
and take it
before,
off. I don't have a tin, so I have to improvise, which is fine. There we are. So I use my hand as the tin. So fingers crossed, Lily. Will it come off?
I'm going to say, yeah.
Chance. Okay, that goes on the side. Now there's also a tin at the bottom, so we're going to take it off. So either use a spatula, I'm using a knife, or use a spatula and just go around the edges. So all you do is you just put your tip of a knife and go around the edges. Let's unveil the cheesecake. Voila.
That looks really good.
It looks good. So if you look at the base of the cheesecake, it's got a nice and even coating around it.
Yeah.
You see that? It's because we have patiently pressed it down very evenly. So the edges are nice and smooth. You can have it on its own. It's fantastic. We will make it even more beautiful. So to garnish it,
Yeah.
so remember we had a caramel we made? I'll show you one and then you do the rest.
Okay.
Okay? So okay, this is nice and soft now. See, it's pouring consistency. So all you're doing now is with your spoon, you just drizzle. Okay? Just form lines across. So I'll do on one side and then you do the other side. Okay, Lily?
Okay.
You go on the other side. Yeah, just go across it. Good, well done. If you like it thicker, you can make it thicker. The best part is you do exactly the way you want to do it in your own homes. It's the way you like to eat. Most importantly, it is getting the technique right, trying to understand the little tricks of how to put things together.
Is that it?
That's it. It's looking good.
It's
I mean, if I
very
had gold leaf and stuff like that, I would even add that, make it even more luxurious.
Yeah.
So you take your palm, put it aside, take a good, large, generous pinch, and all you do is just sprinkle the edges. Yeah. So I will do this half, and then Lily, you do the next half.
Yeah, okay.
So what you're doing, you're controlling the drop of the peanut. All yours.
Thank you.
Whichever way you want to do it, you can do that. See, you're better than mine, Lily. That's the way we like it. But now for the brittle. So we got these little barks or little shards. You see that?
Yeah.
How light it is. Fold them. So nice and fluffy, aren't they? So all you do now is you cook with your senses, right? Sound is very important. You want to hear a good sound?
That's a
You
good
hear
sound.
the crackle? That tells you that the sugar has got a nice, crisp texture to it. I like to make small pieces,
Okay.
so I'll make a small piece and I put them on the edges. Okay? So literally space them out. So you think of it like a clock, and you can just place them around. So I'll do this side, Lily, you do that side.
Okay. That's so nice.
Get the crackle?
Mm-hmm.
And you do the last one.
Okay.
We're going to tuck in and have a little bite.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah.
You want to cut? Shall I cut?
You can cut it.
Okay, I'll cut it. Let's have a look. I can hear the crunch. I can hear the cut. Ooh. Will it not? Will it not? Well, let's have a look. Well, it does. Look at that.
That looks so nice.
Come on, Lily.
What part?
All of it.
I'll have this bit.
All of it.
Oh my god. That's so good.
Let's have a little try.
It's so nice.
It's very easy for us to say good on camera, but it actually has a very nice, and it's not heavy, it's still light.
No. And the texture with all the peanuts
Exactly.
as well.
Come on, I'm going to finish it off.
Yeah, definitely.
While we have this, you guys make it at home and enjoy yourselves.